Welcome to Bed Crime Stories podcast. I'm your host, T. And if true crime is your jam, and like me, you enjoy delving into unsolved cases, trying to figure out who done it, please consider subscribing. Also, if you enjoy my videos, please hit that like button. Today I'm going to do updates on 3 cases: Kiely Rodni, Jolissa Fuentes, and Dylan Rounds. Let's start with the Kiely Rodni case. The latest rumblings in the Kiely Rodni case are, 1, that the investigation is likely a homicide investigation, and 2, that Ryan Upchurch is claiming that he hasn't been able to find proof that Kiely Rodni and Sammy Smith exist. Now, these are just rumblings. My mentioning them here is not me confirming that they are true or that I believe them. For that second item, I will say that I believe Ryan Upchurch is wrong. Kiely and Sammy are real people. There's no way that Kiely Rodni's family made this all up in an attempt to get GoFundMe monies. I know there are people who try to scam through GoFundMe campaigns, but in my opinion, to suggest that that's what happened with Kiely is very hurtful, doesn't help the family, and is yet another stab to their collective heart when they're reeling from a loss that is unfathomable to most of us. Only a mother and father who've lost a child can understand the full weight of such an event, and I don't even want to try to imagine their pain. As for point 1, I do believe that law enforcement is looking at all possibilities in Kiely's case, and one of those is homicide through foul play. P.I. Steve of SF Investigates pointed out that in the video of Kiely's CRV being pulled from the water, the wheels are rolling and the car is not being dragged. This means the car is in neutral. He also said that law enforcement would not have tampered with the car and put it into neutral. They would take it into custody as they found it. He also pointed out that the key has to be on to shift gears. So P.I. Steve's logic then would also point to that back seat left window being open before anyone from Adventures with Purpose or law enforcement got into the water to get an up-close view. Adventures with Purpose has also contributed to some of the rumblings through what they said in an interview with Vinnie Politano of Court TV. Take a listen.
This is a big ongoing investigation. There's still a lot of answers still out there, a lot of questions to be answered. And the FBI, the Nevada County Sheriff's Office, and the Placer County Sheriff's Office now have one of the biggest missing clues to their investigations, and should be. I fully expect a lot of very heavy stuff to come from this.
In case you didn't hear that clearly, Doug Bishop of Adventures with Purpose said the FBI, the Nevada County Sheriff's Office, and the Placer County Sheriff's Office now have one of the biggest missing clues to their investigation. I fully expect a lot of very heavy stuff to come from this. End quote. I wish Vinnie Politano would have asked the AWP guys to elaborate on that statement. What exactly did they mean? And why were they saying that? It shows the powers of words. Once a statement like that is put out into the universe, people start running with it, interpreting it, and it can lead to logical conclusions, but it can also lead to crazy conspiracy theories. I would rather have had AWP explain what they meant than to have people interpret it. I reached out to them and I was hoping that they would get back to me with an explanation. They did not. They said that they've done a lot of interviews and whatever they're going to say has been in those interviews. One thing that Doug Bishop could have meant is that if 16-year-old minor Kiely Rodni passed away as a result of being inebriated and confused in the dark Prosser Park, then whoever sold her or gave her the alcohol could be held liable. Whoever served or sold the alcohol could land in jail for up to 1 year and be subject to fines. The laws are designed to deter underage drinking and dissuade those who may be willing to provide alcohol to a minor. But Doug could have meant a whole host of other things instead. What did the diver see down there? Was there anything inside the CRV that told a story? Was Kiely injured in some way that would indicate something other than an accident? Was the car really in neutral? Now, this campfire-style party at the Prosser Woods is something that the locals have said happens every year. I found a Facebook post by a 19-year-old Truckee, California native. Here's what she wrote. I'm a born and raised Truckee girl and am 19. I've gone to many of these bonfires and even myself have thrown some. The post was strictly for just 3 different schools in our community. It was posted by everyone. These bonfires happen every year, especially for seniors. I graduated last year and did not attend this party, but know many people that did and saw the post. Never have I ever seen something blow up like this. It's a very popular spot for all of us teenagers, but now our community and all the young teens will never look at it the same. End quote. Right under that post, a woman wrote that Kiely was allegedly last seen with people charging their phones. That's hearsay, by the way, so it's not necessarily true. The woman goes on to say that the driver's side window was busted out and the back driver's side window was rolled down. She asked the question, did anyone escape the vehicle? This lady wrote that she's against conspiracy theories, but she asked a reasonable question. How was that window down? Why was the driver's side window broken? But again, I'm not sure if that driver's side window was broken when the divers dove down there to look, or if it broke as a result of the CRV being turned upright and hauled out. I do, however, think it's likely that the back seat driver's side window was halfway down. Whether that was because Kiely wanted some fresh air as she drove, or whether it's because someone else was back there and put it down for some reason remains to be seen. We can only speculate at this point. For now, let's honor Kiely's memory by celebrating the fact that she was a living, breathing, beautiful human being. In the words of Beyonce, she was here, she lived, she loved. Moving on to Jolissa Fuentes. The search for 22-year-old Jolissa Fuentes reaches its 3rd week. She's been missing since Sunday, August 7th, when she was last seen leaving an AM/PM gas station near Nebraska and Highland Avenues in Selma, California at 4 a.m. On the night of her disappearance, her phone pinged in Sanger and later again near Avocado Lake and Pine Flat Lake Reservoir. Adventures with Purpose searched for Jolissa this past weekend at the 2 lakes as well as at Winton Park and did not find her. Today I read that Jolissa would often smoke a blunt at the orchard by her house while watching the sunrise. This was one of her favorite regular behaviors. Could she have been doing that and encountered someone with bad intentions? I'd say that if you're out at 4 a.m. alone in a remotish area, your likelihood of running into trouble is elevated. I also read that Jolissa might be affiliated with a gang in Central California known as the Fresno Bulldog Gang, or BDS for short. Note that I said might, and let me also say allegedly. This BDS gang is also known by the abbreviations FBD and 624. They are described as a primarily Mexican-American criminal street and prison gang located in 559 California. 559 stands for the area code in California that is associated with the gang. Their membership is estimated to be around 12,000 people in the cities of Fresno, Fowler, Selma, Sanger, and more. They are engaged in a wide range of criminal activity and have been subject to many high-profile cases over the years. Time will tell if Jolissa's disappearance is in any way connected to this gang. If anyone has information about Jolissa Fuentes' disappearance, please call Detective Richard Figueroa at 559-891-2243. Moving on to Dylan Rounds. Today is when Dylan's parents, Candace Cooley and Justin Rounds, are meeting with the Box Elder Sheriff's Office in Utah. Candace and Justin are asking Box Elder to step down as the lead investigatory agency. I'll be waiting to see if Candace shows up on East Idaho News with Nate Eaton to share the outcome of this meeting. Let's hope that whatever decision comes out of it helps move Dylan's case forward. Salty Pancake's YouTube channel continues to be home to all things Kurt Wadsworth. He was on the channel yesterday along with some channel regulars, including the Shack Lady, Kim Brooks from Tyler Feller's channel, a guy named Ranger, I think it's a guy, maybe it's a girl named Ranger, and Modest Man. When Kurt Wadsworth arrived on the panel, he said that he's being hunted in Montello by tweakers. He's claiming that these tweakers in town or nearby are following him around and driving by the Saddle Sore bar in what seems to be a campaign to intimidate him. Wadsworth sounds concerned that these people are out to get him. I'm a little confused by this because I've been under the impression that the Wadsworths are the ones who rule Montello. When asked who he thinks is responsible for Dylan's disappearance, Kurt said the tweakers, and he meant Chase Venstra and others. Now, Kurt's convinced that law enforcement's suspect in the case, Jim Brenner, is not involved. Kurt seems to think that a number of tweakers heard about Dylan's large check, the one for $30,000, and they saw all the big equipment that Dylan drove, and they maybe thought that he keeps money under his mattress in the trailer. In Kurt's mind, it may have been a robbery that went bad. Perhaps Dylan was wounded and they kept him hostage, maybe for a week or so, until he succumbed to his injuries. Kurt said it's possible these people moved Dylan's body twice. Now, the way Kurt talks about this stuff makes me feel like he knows many details that he couldn't possibly be making up. Kurt said these tweakers know how to keep their mouths shut, and so far they've gotten away with the crime because they know that if they don't talk, no one will ever know. At one point, the conversation turned to polygraphs. Kurt revealed that the FBI offered him the opportunity to take a polygraph to clear himself from all the YouTube rumors. Kurt declined the offer, saying he has an alibi and it would be hard for him to drive hundreds of miles to where the FBI office is located to take the polygraph. The Shack Lady then offered to drive Kurt there, but Kurt still said no, and he explained that Don Hatley took a polygraph for the FBI. Perhaps Hatley passed it by showing that he wasn't being deceptive, and yet people continue to speculate as to whether Hatley was involved in Dylan's disappearance. I personally find it a tad curious that Kurt Wadsworth isn't willing to take a polygraph. If he has nothing to hide, and knowing that a polygraph isn't admissible in court, why not just take it? The talk also turned to whether or not Dylan's iPhone and gun were found. According to Kurt, he has it from a reliable source that these two items were in fact found. But again, people, this is hearsay. It's definitely possible, but it's still hearsay here. We know that Candace lied about the key fob because she was told to. So it's possible she's also not telling the truth about whether or not Dylan's iPhone and pistol have been found. Kurt Wadsworth and Salty also said that Ty Corbin is friends with all the tweakers in town because they claim he's a drug dealer. They described Ty carrying a backpack in which he keeps his inventory. Salty even said that when he was in Montello, he watched that lady named Annie who lives there and who allowed Chase Venstra to stay on her property. Well, Salty saw her come to Montello, meet up with Ty Corbin, and he alleges that she was purchasing drugs. Now, again, this is all hearsay. We don't know if Ty Corbin is a drug dealer, although Kurt and Salty seem pretty adamant that he is. But then again, these people have been warring back and forth, and it's hard to know who's telling the truth. When asked what type of drugs Corbin sells, Kurt said that it's probably the same array of offerings that his now incarcerated son, Aaron Wadsworth, was selling: Oxycontin, fentanyl, meth, and more. They also said that Ty Corbin, who lives in Wells, Nevada, was in Montello on the Saturday that Dylan Rounds went missing. Then Kurt and Salty talked about Candace Cooley and Justin Rounds threatening to sue anybody who trespasses on Dylan's farm. Kurt was angry about this, and he said he had to go to Dylan's farm to get his oil and his backhoe. This is the first I'm hearing about oil being out there. And Kurt is adamant that he had permission to go there. He also said that he's in contact with Don Hatley. Per Kurt, Larry Rounds asked Don Hatley to keep Dylan's pond filled with water for the wildlife out there. Hatley told Kurt about this, and Kurt offered to fill the pond for Don, and Hatley apparently accepted. Kurt told Salty that he knows Dylan's grandfather, Larry Rounds, and explained that Larry is the person who asked him to come out to Dylan's farm on the Tuesday after Memorial Day to drain Dylan's pond. Okay, well, that's all I'm going to share with you from that live. If you want to watch the whole 5.5-hour show, I'll share the link in the description. Until the next time on Bed Crime Stories. Now, do me a favor, if you haven't smashed that like button, please do so now. Leave me a comment, subscribe if you're not yet subscribed, and I'll see you next time.